Hi, in this video I'm going to show how you can run dbt projects in Snowflake. dbt projects in Snowflake allow you to run your data pipelines where your data resides in Snowflake. This gives you the benefit of one single platform with the same governance controls for your data as you have for your data platforms, so don't have to manage access to other systems. We have logging and tracing built in, so you can debug any of your dbt pipelines in the same place. And all this is managed for you. So we're going to use compute with virtual warehouses like you do for other spots in Snowflake, allowing you to run dbt pipelines in minutes. This lab, we're going to be using Tasty Bites data to show how you can run dbt projects in Snowflake. Tasty Bites is a global food truck brand. You can kind of think about it as a fast food brand on wheels, operating in 450 distinct trucks. And the data we're going to show is coming from raw customer and our raw POS system, so customer loyalty, and then things like order detail and order header. All this is going to get run through our dbt pipeline here in the middle. We have a Python model, and the rest will be SQL. And those are going to get landed in our March layer. So we're going to have models that are aggregating by customer. So we can have customer loyalty metrics, orders, which is a super wide view of orders joined with all the other relevant tables, and then finally sales metrics by location. I'm going to start our demo in Workspaces. Workspaces is the new file-based IDE based in Snowsight, and this gives us the ability to edit SQL files, edit YAML, edit Python, and then run dbt projects all from the same location. Everything is also Git-backed, so we can pull down files from a remote repository, make edits, and then push those back. But I'm starting here in just my personal workspace, and I have an example SQL file that I'm running just like I would a worksheet. So I have maybe a query here to profile some data. I'm looking at the results here, all in the same activity. In our case in this lab, I want to create a new workspace, and I'm going to pull that from a Git repository. So I can put the repository there, give it a name, and then give it an API integration so I can access that. This is a public repository, so I don't have to worry about credentials, and I'll click Create. And this is going to pull all of those files from the remote repository into a new workspace, and that's going to allow me to operate dbt on that project. Great, so I've now cloned a dbt project into a new workspace. And now I'm going to show how you can run dbt projects all from the Workspaces environment. First, I want to go over the example project I have pulled up here. This is a Tasty Bites demo. So we have data coming in from a source table, in this case, TB101, raw. And here we can look at our tables here. And we have data related to the Tasty Bites food truck network. So things like menu, order detail, order header, and then customer loyalty. And these will get processed through our dbt pipeline that we'll show in a minute. The first file I want to show is our profiles. This is interesting because it uses the same governance structure for other spots of Snowflake. So in this case, you can specify the role you want to run the data pipeline as, and then that will be respected in the dbt project. Also, we use the context for the account and user, so whatever you're running in Snowflake will be respected, and then we'll specify our target database and schema. And then the interesting piece here is we specify a warehouse. So all of the compute is managed for us, one single platform that gives us the ability to run these projects. If we jump into our models, we can show in sources, again, we're going to reference that TB101 database. So this already exists in this account. We have specified the schema for the source tables. And we're also referencing dbt utils. So we can pull in packages like dbt utils to use some data tests here. We then have SQL files that just do atomic one-to-one with those source tables that we just showed down below. And then our Marts layer, we have a few different queries that are doing some aggregation, so customer loyalty metrics, so grouping by customer. We have orders, that's making a really wide table based on orders. And we even have a Python model here, so we're going to use Snowpark to do sales metrics by location. All of this can be run within Snowflake. The first thing I want to do is do dbt deps. So in the toolbar here is how we can operate on dbt in the Workspaces environment. The first is drop-down is projects. So if you have a mono repo, you can select the project here. This is just looking for a dbt project file. We then have our profile. So in this case, we have dev and prod, and that's corresponding to the profiles.yaml that we showed a minute ago. And then we can select the command to run for dbt. So I'm going to start with dbt deps. Great, so I see that that is finished running. So now I have my dbt utils pulled into the dbt package folder, and that lets me run dbt util tests that I have in the sources. Next, I'm going to run dbt compile. So this will compile my project and start running that down below. Great, so now I see that my compile command has completed. And this does two things for me. The first is I can view my compiled SQL. So if I jump back to my customer loyalty metrics model here, I can view compiled SQL, and this can show the actual tables here. So it's not the Ginge anymore, it's been compiled to do the actual tables. I can also run, if I've already done a dbt run and have data populated through the pipeline, this will show me the results of this layer. The second piece, I'll close this, is I can see my DAG. So here I can see where the customer loyalty metric is in my DAG, and then all of the tables that feed into it. Next, I'm going to do dbt run. So I can use the dropdown again, click dbt run. Can also do execute with default, so I'm just going to do dbt run for everything. But I wanted to run, let's say, just one model. I can pass flags there as well. But I'll click run here to run all of my models, and this will pull data through my data pipeline here. Go back to outputs to see when this completes. Awesome, now I can see that my models have complete and data has been pulled through my pipeline. If we want to preview this data, we can again look at the compiled SQL, and then we can run this just like a worksheet, and this will give us results. So in this case, I can see my customer loyalty metrics. So this is our customers grouped by total sales. So we have our total sales here for each customer. This looks good, but I also want to run a data test just to make sure everything is right. So I have several data tests here in my sources. And again, I'll go to the dropdown. I'm going to click test and then run. Now I see that all of my tests have completed. So I'm going to go forward and deploy this dbt project. Deploying this dbt project builds a Snowflake object that allows me then to orchestrate it. So I'll name this dbt project. I'm going to save it in the raw layer of our database. So this will build an object that I can then orchestrate and also put governance controls on. Great, I now see that that project has been created. Can also go to this dropdown and either create a schedule or view our schedule. So if we want to create a run, we can fill out this form. So maybe I want to do dbt run. I can select a frequency, the operation, the profile, so dev prod, and then I can create that. So this lets me really quickly orchestrate these dbt pipelines. Now that we've deployed this, let's look at how dbt projects integrate with other tools in Snowflake. We'll start looking at our task history. So I've created some tasks that run our dbt project on a schedule. I can click in here to get more details of what's running. In this case, I have a DAG of tasks running dbt deps, dbt run, and dbt test. I can see how that is running and then track it over time. Can also integrate with other tools like alerts, so you can get alerted, maybe a Slack notification if a dbt test fails, for instance. can also look at traces and logs. So everything, again, is built in to the same platform here. So if I want to look at what happened during a dbt execution, I can jump into here, see a breakdown of what happened with the trace. All this is open telemetry standard, and then dig into the logs as well. So I can see everything that happened and debug in the same platform where I ran the dbt project. Don't need to go digging for logs in other platforms. It's all in the same place. Also have our dbt projects tab. So this gives us an overview of all the dbt projects in the account. And then finally, we can look at cost management. So if we want to track consumption over time, we can look at our warehouse that we're running here, Tasty Bites dbt warehouse, and the credits it's consumed.